Welcome to Shatliff on Sunday, second Sunday of Advent, Sunday, December 4th, 2022. And of course, we've got a very important football game taking place live at 7 o'clock on the Dutch channel ITV1. Come on, England against Senegal. More about that and more will there be a little later. On today's edition of Shatliff on Sunday, as well as obviously previewing and getting ready to a World Cup game which I've been looking forward to for over 20 years, we'll also be having some Advent reflection, looking ahead at, as I say, the game that's going on this evening, looking at some of the big news stories which have been going on over the last 7 days, and just frankly, just asking the question, just how much can the people of this country take with some of the industrial action which is going on. Some of the stuff I've got here on this special Christmas lot, such as the, in fact, I've not even actually got it on display, the Walk With Me, I ordered through the post 2 weeks ago from the actual company, Alive Publications, and that's still not arrived. Normally on there, I normally have the TV Times. That's not arrived as yet. Neither has the next edition, which would also be here. And these are things which I myself have personally paid for. These are things that, okay, people can do without, but when people have paid money towards them, I'm asking the question this morning, just how much more can we all take in terms of this industrial action? I know that people are going to actually be annoyed with me for saying that, but we have our own free speech in this country, and that is what our country is supposed to be, with democracy and everything else. Before we go on to that, let's just take a look at some of the main stories which are, of course, taking place this Sunday lunchtime. Talking about these industrial actions, then Nadeem Sawali has been saying this morning the army may be deployed to ease the possible strike disruption. The government is considering deploying the army to help ease possible strike disruption over Christmas. He is, of course, the chairman of the Conservative Party. Also, of course, Matt Hancock has been condemned for his account of how care homes were handled during COVID-19. Of course, England are preparing for tonight's very big, important football game against Senegal. That kicks off at 7 o'clock and it's shown on ITV1. And of course, the big build-up is all already going on. US intelligence are saying that fighting will be at reduced tempo for months in Ukraine. They have said that they expect a reduced tempo in fighting in Ukraine to last several months, with both sides looking to prepare for a counter-offensive after the winter. And this has come from the Director of National Intelligence, who said that while this might be the case, there is no evidence of a reduced Ukrainian will to resist, and morale hasn't faded, despite persistent Russian attacks on the country's energy infrastructure. I'll give my opinion on that as well in a few moments. And of course, there is another very, very big story which is going on at the moment, and that is the number of young children who are dying of scarlet fever, known officially as strep A. This is something that is, of course, very, very concerning. As far as I'm concerned, one death in this present 2022 is bad enough. We're hearing reports of more, and our thoughts and prayers with anybody who is worried, concerned, or of course has anyone who is suffering from this at this specific time and any other specific time. Right. In regards to the US intelligence, it was also said this week about a possible ceasefire that the Americans were saying in regards to Russia and various different things. Let's just get this point clear. Any ceasefire, anything at all that would result in the end of this war, which has been going on now since February 24th, and really it's been going on since 2014. That is when Russians annexed and took control of Crimea. It is up to President Zelensky and the Ukrainians as to how they want to deal with this situation. It is up to them if they're going to do negotiations. It's up to them to make that decision. It is not for the Americans to do it. I will give my opinion because I care passionately about those people of Ukraine. This war should not be happening. Russia should not have invaded the rest of the world. NATO and all the others should have been doing more so that this was dealt with straight away back in 2014. They didn't deal with it right then. They should have dealt with it properly at the beginning of this so that Ukraine can be at full peace. But no, there's too much pussyfooting around. And I'm sorry, I know I try to be impartial, but any kind of support whatsoever, or kind of thinking that Joe Biden would be the best president for the United States, he's certainly better than Donald Trump, a more caring person, there's no ifs or buts about it whatsoever. But I'm sorry to say, and again, people might slate me for this, but freedom of speech, but any confidence at all whatsoever in Joe Biden is now well and truly gone, as far as I'm concerned. The man is a very decent person, do not get me wrong, but there are certain things that have gone on. Some may say it's not direct his own fault or his own responsibility, but the fact is that what's going on in Ukraine needs to be sorted out. Vladimir Putin and the people that surround him, that have been supporting him over recent years regarding this, need to be brought to justice. They need to face up to their actions. Everybody knows my view in regards to this, but I'm sorry, but President Biden has gone down in my estimations over the last 12 months, and certain things over recent months have caused that to go down even further. So I'm sorry, but when you are in a position of authority, a position of responsibility, and this goes for any world leader, you have to be very careful with what you say, and you have to be very careful with the actions indeed which you also take as well. And unfortunately, things which have been said have certainly not made situations any better. That's my own personal opinion. Now, in regards to what's happening on regarding striking, I understand that any person at all that goes out to work needs to get the best possible deal for whatever sector that they are in, whether they're in the private sector, whether they are in the public sector. But of course, what's happening at the moment is causing major problems for ordinary people. I know people that haven't been able to get to events to help other people due to train strikes. And of course, as I mentioned before, things which I myself personally have ordered have not arrived. And they're just some things. But then, of course, there's other things which are going to be going on. So I just feel that is this just because a certain party did not get elected at last general election? Or is it something that would be going on whoever was going to be in charge? And is it somebody's way of trying to bring a government down in a whole variety of ways? I have said many times before that anybody who is working the full-time hours of 35 hours or more per week should be given a minimum salary of £20,000 per year, and a tax threshold should be £15,000 before anybody starts paying tax. That's a good start, and then of course companies should be paying more. And don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way, shape or form trying to say that people do not deserve more money. Everybody deserves more money, and that would help people, especially during this current cost of living crisis. What I'm also saying though is that some of these actions are affecting the ordinary people, and it's still going on. It's making situations a lot worse for people. So everybody different ways to try and get these things sorted out. The government need to be doing things, then obviously they need to be doing things, but also any of these unions or anybody like that needs to look at ways, not just to think, yeah, let's strike, let's look at these specific ways, because there's also a lot of people out there that don't want to be going out striking as well. Right, okay, that's two very, very controversial things I've said on this programme this week. As I say, I give my opinion. Sometimes my opinion can change regarding different things, depending how things go on and how things are handled and different things like that. There's an awful lot of stuff which is going on at the moment, and all I want is for peace, tranquility for every person that lives. That's all that I want. People to be able to enjoy their lives. People should not be struggling to make ends meet. People should not be having to be worried about bombs coming over them. People worried that they can't be themselves without somebody having a go. And things like that. So our world needs to be better. And that is why I take the step looking from the centre ground without lurching to the right, without lurching to the left. Although obviously the way you're looking at me now, that's left, that's right, that's left, whichever. Stay at the centre ground, be universal for all. Like when you might want to watch a nice, happy family drama series where it's got you on there, so that everybody can see it, everybody can indeed be part of that. Right, okay, I'm going to turn the mood because I know, understandably as well, we've got our lights on here. This is not costing very much money here. We've got the batteries here. We've got the candles, and there's also something over there as well. We can enjoy ourselves despite having to watch our pennies. In Ukraine and other countries of the world, they are going to try and enjoy Christmas, but also at the same time, they're having to watch. They've got a cost of living which literally is costing their lives because they are trying to save their lives. They want to have the peace that they jolly well should be. So what I'm saying is even though I've got the brightness here, our hearts and thoughts and minds are with the people of Ukraine, not just now, but every day, and even once this comes to an end, they'll still be with them because they deserve to have that peace forever. As I said last week, it's not just what's been happening since 2014. There's been Russian aggression threatening Ukraine for many, many decades, for many, many times. And in the new year, we will do something to actually look more into the history of Ukraine and just explain that it's not just what's going on now or what happened with the Holodomor, which we were talking about last week, but all kinds of other stuff. It's not just Ukraine, it's other parts of Eastern Europe as well, which have been under that specific threat. So thoughts, hearts, prayers are with all of those people as it stands, not just today, but always. Right, okay, I'm going to go back to doing a little bit of rendezvous now. Okay, so let's turn the clock back to June 2002. I was 26 years of age. It was also the 50th Jubilee when our first England World Cup game kicked off. During that time of the England of the World Cup in 2002 of Japan and South Korea, there was a team that I had heard of and just saw little bits of. I didn't see the full games. But I must admit, sometimes I don't always watch all the games unless it's England or a team that I actually want to see win actually do it. So I actually saw a little bit of Senegal playing. And the way their style of play was absolutely fantastic. So we were already out of it by then. I think Brazil had already knocked us out for it before then. That was the famous one where Ronaldinho said it was giving me yes he did, and of course, but anyway, that was back then. But it's nice to be able to play a team like Senegal, and they did win the Afro Nations League as well, so there's no It's not as if it's going to be an easy play, but all thoughts there showing good support there to England for tonight. 3 Lions there, we've got the flag. But I must admit, I will say one thing. I'm not going to put this out now, and the reason why I'm not going to put this out now is because I don't want to see a curse on the team. But I've not seen many England flags out and about during this World Cup. I've seen beautiful, wonderful Christmas decorations, which is absolutely fantastic. I went for an evening walk last night and saw quite a few. I've not seen the decorations as much, so the actual flags out as much this time. As I say, I'm not going to put them out now. I don't want to cause any phase or tension, anything like that. But we can still enjoy that game this evening. I also want to say something else as well, because it was announced yesterday that one of the greatest footballers ever, Pele, is at end of life care, and Harry Kane has a special message saying thoughts and prayers were with him and wishing him he said he wished him all the very best. Pele has then since himself tweeted saying that he's actually feeling strong. So let's hope that the great Pele is, if he is able to make a recovery, that would be absolutely fantastic. But let's hope that if he is in his final days, that he has the peace and tranquility and not very much pain, so that he can meet the good Lord in a peaceful way. I'm saying that with kindness, because nobody ever wishes to see anybody. Nobody wants to see somebody in any scenario and the time comes to an end, but because it's been indicated and our thoughts and everything are indeed with Pele and of course his family, and of course everybody would say thank you for being an absolutely wonderful footballer, and if you can get yourself well, you'd be a great guest on Shatliff on Sunday. But anyway, that's I don't think that seems likely to happen even if he was 100% fit. But anyway, right, okay, well that is it from this week's edition of Shatliff on Sunday. I will be here on Christmas Day, and I will also be here on New Year's Day as well. And actually, something I just realised, one thing I didn't do was the actual reflection, because of course I got carried away talking about various different things. So, right, okay, this is how passionate I get regarding certain things. You all know my views on Ukraine, obviously very passionate in terms of showing support there, and I was passionate in regards to what I was saying regarding the industrial action which is affecting everybody as well. So we'll say this reflection now, and we'll do it now. This is a call to second Sunday of Advent. The Lord will make the glory of his voice heard in the joy of your heart. In his days justice shall flourish and peace till the moon fails. The child born of the Virgin Mary is called Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. We can't ignore sin, and to give it other names is futile. When we examine our hearts, we discover an inclination towards evil. For I do not understand my own actions. For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. We are as if it were divided, split within ourselves, a dramatic struggle ensures between good and evil, light and darkness. This interior battle is real. We can feel at times as if bound by chains. The cry of our heart is, wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from this body of death? Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. And the prayer that goes with this: help me, O Lord my God, save me according to your steadfast love. I will be back next Sunday with the decorations. I wish everybody a very, very good weekend ahead. If anybody wants to come on to Shatliff on Sunday, then please drop me an email, inquiries@benjaminfshatliff.com. That's inquiries@benjaminfshatliff.com. I will be here every Sunday, either around this time or just before or just after, and we'll keep this program going all year round. For now, take care and God bless.
My soul is filled with joy as I sing to God my Savior. You have looked upon your servant. You have visited your people, and holy is your name. Through all generations, everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your name. I am lowly as a child, but I know from this day forward that my name will be remembered. For all will call me blessed, and holy is your name. Through all generations, everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your name. I proclaim the power of God. You do marvels for your servants, though you scatter the rebellion and destroy the might of princes. And holy is your name. Through all generations, everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your name.